So I made a whole video talking about the worst things about Mortal Kombat 11. If you haven't checked out that video, go right ahead. So you must think that I love everything about MKX, right? No. That's right, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 worst things about Mortal Kombat X. There are plenty of things that I don't like about MKX, but these are the defining 5 that I just cannot get over. Now, I would like to do a version of this video talking about the 5 best things about MKX, so if you guys would like to see that video, make sure you drop a big thumbs up, and also make sure you actually give a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss any Mortal Kombat content from me. With that being said, let's get on with the video. The first thing that comes to mind when somebody asks me what are the things that you hate about Mortal Kombat X, immediately I go to the aesthetics of the game. The game looks like trash. It is so boring to look at. It is so ugly to look at. It is so lifeless to look at, and it has no color. Mortal Kombat has always been full of life, full of so much color, so much magic, everything over the top and in your face. And Mortal Kombat X, for whatever reason, takes that all away. I mean, you see it right here on your screen, a couple of examples of what I mean. This shit just looks like trash. I mean, look what the character select screen looks like. Everybody has the same background. Everybody has the same emotionless face. Everybody looks like they had a bad picture day in high school. There's no color in the icons. It's all just brown and gray and black and just this weird shade of dark blue. The one that pops out the most is Liu Kang because of his red headband. And it's not just the lighting or the colors of the game. The characters also look like trash when it comes to their faces. I mean, look at how ugly some of these characters look. Like, ew. I mean, I really hate to say it, but NetherRealm really doesn't know how to sculpt faces by hand. Again, Mortal Kombat has never been this dark and gritty franchise. It has always been over the top, super colorful, super magical. It's just in your face with the fantasy elements of the series, and it's been that way since the beginning. And so why would I ever want to play a Mortal Kombat game, or why would I ever want to look at a Mortal Kombat game that is so lifeless? I understand they wanted to go with a darker tone for this game, and that's totally fine because they've done it before with Mortal Kombat Deception. But Mortal Kombat Deception never let go of the color and the fantasy elements and the pop-out character designs. I mean, just take one example, the select screen of Deception. There's a dark and gray background, but look at the character icons. It all pops out and it's super colorful. The next thing I don't like about MKX is a little bit related to the aesthetics of the game, and that is the stages. There is so few stages to choose from, and there's only one classic stage with the pit. Maybe 2 with the Sky Temple, although the Sky Temple at MKX is very different from how it was in Deception. So I basically only have one stage to choose from, which is the pit, a classic stage, so I can kind of guarantee that classic Mortal Kombat feel. If I'm not playing on the pit, I run the risk of playing on the destroyed city, the refugee camp, the training stage, the Outworld marketplace. Like, there's so many boring and ugly ass stages to look at. Now, there are some good ones. I do like the Jinsei Chamber. I do like the Cove. I do like the Lin Kuei Temple, but on the other hand, I'm dealing with some really ugly stages, so there's not really a lot of consistency here. I don't have that many good stages to choose from, and I never had a good amount of stages to choose from to begin with. I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat X online recently, and I don't know if you guys are playing MKX online today, but if you have, haven't you noticed that almost everybody immediately picks the pit as the stage that they want to play on? I can't be the only one who's noticed that, and I think there's a good reason for that too. The third thing that I really don't like about Mortal Kombat X is the variations. Now, I want to be a little bit careful here because knowing that Mortal Kombat 11 is the second Mortal Kombat game to have variations and how it was done in that game, variations are easily a lot better done in MKX than they are in MK11. Number one, I just want to go onto the select screen, look at the character, and know exactly what I'm getting, and always having a full tool set to use, and I can do whatever the fuck I want to do with that character. I don't want to be forced to not use a variation or a version of Raiden where I can't teleport. Why would I ever want to play a version of Raiden where I can't teleport? Why is Katana having to use somebody else's weapons with Jade's glaive and staff when I can have a full tool set of fan-based combos and special moves? Also, I absolutely hate how you're forced to have a visual indicator on your character's model depending on what variation you have. This one's a little bit personal to me because Liu Kang is my favorite character, but if I want to play as MK1 Liu Kang, I don't want him to be wearing a headband and arm bracers, but he has to in this game because of the variation visual indicators. MK1 Liu Kang does not wear a headband or have anything on his arms, for God's sake. Also, Aaron Black only has one variation where he has his hat on. Why would you make a cowboy character and you only have his hat on for one of his variations? And this one isn't so much visual, it's a little bit more on gameplay, but why does Jason only have one variation where he uses his machete? His machete is his most iconic weapon. Why is it only restricted to one variation? It's like if Katana only had one variation where she uses her fans. Now, if I'm gonna give credit to MKX's variations, at the very least, all of them are pretty well defined, and I can't say the same about MK11. Another thing that I really don't like about MKX is its roster. To start, there are way too many characters that are associated with the Special Forces. There are 8. That's too many. There's also a lot of new characters, maybe a little bit too much. There are 9 in MKX. Now, new characters are cool and all. You gotta keep your game fresh and you gotta keep the franchise fresh. But this roster really could have benefited from a Noob Saibot, a Shang Tsung, a Nightwolf, a Rain. Fujin would have been nice. Serena really would have made this roster shine. It just goes back to the same talking point that is so valid and still true to this day. There are way too many existing Mortal Kombat characters that need a second chance and people have been dying to see and waiting to see for so long that you have to ask, do you really need a roster with 9 new characters? Especially when the selection for the classic characters are just the standard MK1 and MK2 characters? And mind you, barely any MK3 characters as well. MKX's roster is just really boring. It just feels super safe and a little bit too small considering how many new characters they introduced. And the last thing about MKX that I really do not like is the 50-50 gameplay meta. I absolutely hate how the meta in MKX is a coin toss game, because although there are a lot of combos and a lot of combos are very satisfying and fun to execute, at the end of the day, you're going to be playing the game and figuring out whether you get to hit overhead or you hit low, or whether you block overhead or you block low. And if you guess wrong, guess what? Game over. You eat shit for it. For example, all of what Sub-Zero mains are going to be doing is rotating between their back 2 overhead or their back 3 low kick, and their back 3 low kick into Ice Clone, and then repeat the same cycle over and over and over and over again until they get a hit on you. And then from there, admittedly, they get to do a nice swaggy combo. But mainly what you're going to be doing is rotating between those 3 moves. And that is the case for almost every single character on the roster in their own right. And that is just so not fun to play when you're constantly just doing overhead low, 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 overhead, just rotating through that constantly for hours and hours and hours. You have to play 3 other characters at the very least so you don't go insane. Now again, once you get in on your opponent and you're starting to do your combos, that feels fun, that feels satisfying, that's the good part. But it's still tainted by the guessing game meta for you to get there. Other things about the MKX gameplay that I don't like is the stamina bar. Oh my god, does this thing really piss me off. It really pisses me off that backdashing is part of stamina. Like, why are you taking away the ability for me to do the basic fundamental moves of not just a Mortal Kombat game, but a fighting game? If somebody is jumping in all the goddamn time and I don't have stamina bar so I can backdash and avoid it, how in the hell am I supposed to have fun with the game like that? And why are interactables like throwing things at your opponent part of stamina? Like, how does that have anything to do with running? Mortal Kombat X in general lacks a lot of defensive options. It's all offense. It's nothing but offense. And there needs to be a balance with a good defensive game. And when you have the basic defensive tool with backdashing taken away from you because of the stamina bar, it just creates so much infuriating feelings. Now, a lot of people like to characterize me as somebody who always talks negative about Mortal Kombat, so I do want to do a video talking about the 5 things that I love about MKX and MK11. So remember, make sure you drop a big thumbs up on this video if you guys would like to see that. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you definitely do that as well. And subscribe for all things Mortal Kombat. I'll see you guys in the next video.